It's my final evening here in New Zealand, and I have to say I had just an epic day. I spent the day at the track, and I've been hanging out with the Yamaha guys most of the time, which has been great. But I also ran into some really special people. I met Aaron Slight, which I'm a big, huge fan of back in the day for him when he was racing. And with him, when we had lunch, was Mike Perro. So Mike Perro said, hey, you know what? I got a dinner. I can't join you, but I'm going to leave my home open, my personal museum, just for you and Red to come in. I'll basically buzz you through as you come to the gate and come make yourself at home. So let me give you a little tour and show you Mike Perro's motorcycle gallery, as you can see on that sign there. And you can see some of these epic bikes that he has. He kept calling it or playing it down like it wasn't a very special collection, but it really is. And I can't wait to show you. So hang in there for me. As you enter the Mike Perro's motorcycle gallery, you walk through this way. This is also his residence too, so he opens it only on certain hours and things like that. But it's kind of like what you've seen a bit with Iconic East being my house and a bit of a place to store bikes and sell bikes, stuff like that. This is strictly a museum, just his favorite bikes to kind of remind him of his favorite time of motorbikes. He has a tie-in with airplanes. It's a long story, so I won't get into that. But he was a pilot for a while. Now he has a bunch of different businesses, but here we go. You can see this special room right when you walk in. It's not overwhelming. Sometimes when I go in and see collections, it's hundreds upon hundreds of bikes, and it's a bit more than I can even process. But here, just a bunch of the favorites that are important to him for whatever reason. He is probably not a little bit older than me, but so most of his stuff is right in my generation. But RC45, you already know by now how much I love these. Huge fan. In fact, when I was talking to Aaron Slight today, he has one in a crate still. So one of the only ones I know of that's actually in a box. We've sold some of these. Oh, wow, look at that HRC pipe. That's really neat. Great looking example. The other thing I like about this collection specifically is that some of them are just riders. You know, you don't need to have just 0-mile bikes to collect the ones that you love so much. That big man back there is Red. My best, closest mate, pretty much my brother, if you will. We actually met over TLRs back in about 2000. So we both, right when we walked in, we saw this TLS. Hey, TLRs forever, right? Best bikes ever built. FZR 1000. And I know I get a little heat back and forth for saying Z or Z. I'm in New Zealand. We're sticking with Z, right, Red? Zed, that's right. You heard it from the big man. All right, moving on. A bunch of really great bikes. Some Yamahas here and there. A Water Buffalo GT750, which is a water-cooled triple two-stroke. The GSX-R 1100. Another bike that ranks pretty high on my favorites. Always love these. You know, as far as weight goes and performance nowadays, it doesn't compare, but it most certainly has the look with the double headlights, that thin frame, that skinny tank. He's got the very desirable solo seat cover. YZs throughout, different displacements. Some Suzukis, as you can see. Little twin jet. I'm not even sure I'm familiar with that one, actually. You've seen a bunch of Moto Compos at Iconic Motorbikes. These are really fun. Just one of the best times I have ones. A little tiny bike. They're really great. And a bunch of call outs to airplanes, as I mentioned earlier, because of his, he was a pilot for a while. Gold Monkey. These do exceptionally well in auction. He's got the proper license plate to fit it. Oh, look at that. A Britain model on his desk. We have one on our auction site, actually, currently. Moriwaki Kawasaki. God, this one's a really great example. I love the color scheme. The livery is beautiful. Look at that side fill tank. All you need is a tack. True race bike. Speaking of race bike, moving on to this way. This one says it's still used, although it gets the award for one of the most roughest looking tanks I think I've ever seen. RD350, a little bit of race history about it, which is fun. Spent some time reading all this stuff. There's Ben himself. So real estate, finance, mortgages, does all types of stuff. CB1100R, once again, you've seen quite a few of these Iconic. You know, a lot of guys go for the RC30s, but this is a bit before that. This is neat, a CR750. exceptionally desirable bike, especially amongst Honda fans. And this one looks like it's done right too. 1969. What a cool room too. You have to kind of take it all in for a minute. Some of the background photos and images and Macintosh. These are really special. We have a couple clients here, and actually a few clients here in New Zealand that have some of them. They're obviously I want to say they were built here and manufactured. A Kiwi motorcycle engineer. Yeah, these are really quite desirable, especially for New Zealand fans such as myself. Don't know much about this particular one, but it is a Z900.
Z.
Yeah. Thank you, Red. Yeah, I screwed that one out, didn't I? He's going to punch me over that one later. A CB350, some more cool Hondas all mixed in. CB200. He seems to have a thing for small displacement bikes because there's a whole row of them, and I'll show you some more in a minute. The infamous RE5 rotary bike. I got to tell you, as interesting as this bike is, because I'm a big rotary fan, I got to ride one about 2 months ago, and I didn't love it. It was okay, but definitely felt its age. RD350, looks like that LC kind of livery that we've sold before or had before at Iconic. Some more Yamahas, a little D1 over there, a Cowie D1. Cool photo. Actually, on this back wall, let's skip over for a minute. Some really cool Hondas. This one is pretty much well known for that waterfall style exhaust. My era, I really like the sport bikes a lot, especially homologated bikes, and this is one of the early ones. So an 86 dry clutch GSXR 750. Really special bike. The limited edition. We've had a few of these on our site. In fact, we have one from our partner in Canada that we have to talk about bringing back to Iconic. A GPZ 900R. And a different livery than I'm used to seeing. These are neat. Z1R TC, which is the turbo version of the Z1R. And we have a client with a half dozen of these. He wants to sell them as a set, but it's just so many of the same bikes. It's tough to do that. But if you go to this side, you can kind of see the turbo more. It's like back there. I'm going to save the front line for last because I know the most about those bikes. A TX 750, CB 750. Again, another bike you've seen a lot at Iconic. Just a very important bike to Honda and one of the more popular ones. 250 T250 Hustler, a 350, another CB400F probably. Yep. We just sorted one of these out for one of our clients named Andy. That one's a nice one as well. GT380, which is a Suzuki with that very cool head. I love the old Rymer system. Another bike that we've seen. Okay, now the ones that really kind of stand out to me personally, because I'm just, this is my era. A YZF 750 SP has the solo tail section, this crazy livery. This one's got low miles on it, probably in kilometers. It's like a JDM bike. And this front row, which is right up my alley. So RD400s, I love these a lot, various versions of it. RD350, RD400C, RD400E. You can see the little cowl in the front. If you're a big two-stroke fan, you know what that bike is. A TZR250. I love this one. That swing arm. And the way the exhaust exits out the back. We brought a few of these in from Japan. They did quite well. And some small displacement sport bikes. So these are high revving CBR 250R. I want to say Redline is something like 18, 19. Oh, this way I go. Beg your pardon. 19,000 RPM. I've had a chance to ride one of these before. When they have a pipe, they have a sound that you will not forget. ZXR 250, which is the baby brother to the ZX7. And this one has the cool Rymer the airbox tubes. Some people call them Hoover tubes, much like you see in the 91, 92 ZX7s. tiny little baby caliper. Don't need much for a bike that small. A very early GSXR 250 slingshot. They called it a slingshot, but I thought the slingshots were the bigger bikes, but it's okay. Very urgent version, probably a JDM example. A small little Gamma. A Walter Wolf with the crazy logo. And there you have it. So once again, I am so grateful for the owner to let us in here, even though he's not here. Basically just said, drive up, huh, Red? Pretty special moment. I wanted to see this collection since the whole trip we're here, and then we actually leave tomorrow morning, so it worked out perfectly. Mike, you are the man. You're a legend. I loved hearing your stories today. Thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for letting us in your home. Maybe next trip we can take some of these bikes out, Red. What do you say?
Who knows?
What's that?
He's got a flight simulator here as well.
All right. Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, I think that's one of his little side businesses he was telling us about too. So this gentleman is most certainly an entrepreneur. He's got all types of different stuff going on. All right, there we go. Time to pack up and head back to California, unfortunately.